Today on Focus, trash talk in Albania, literally. The country's government is pushing to legalise the import of raw waste into Albania. An unglamorous purchase, but one that they argue would boost the country's recycling sector with knock-on effects for the wider economy. However, many citizens are voicing their opposition, and it's not just because of the smell. Our correspondents Laurent Rouy and Steve Agnew explain why.
This state-of-the-art recycling company is in Tirana, Albania. Director VULLNET complains that it's underutilised. He'd like to import used plastic film, but this is illegal.
We need this plastic film for recycling from import.
Albania could soon become a recycling paradise in South Europe and develop its economy. The Parliament this summer voted on legislation, but after massive opposition from the population, it was rejected and sent back to the Parliament. Now the members would like to adopt it at a second reading. Neighbouring Italy is interested, and an important contract has already been signed between the cities of Verona and Tirana. VULLNET says adoption of the law could create about 100 jobs in his company alone.
It's nonsense to say we don't give a permission to import a raw material for recycling, because we can't find this raw material in Albania in the right quantities to have a scale economy.
The environmentalists have been mobilised, people like ADRIATIK, who's preparing the next demonstration to prevent the Parliament forcing legislation through. In Albania, the state is weak and corruption is widespread. The associations fear that recyclable waste would hide the uncontrolled arrival of tons of garbage, as in the past. The movement's coordinated by LAVDOSH, a leading environmentalist.
The government came back to the old dream of import of waste, but citizens have decided to take it in our hands that import of waste is something that doesn't belong to a perspective of Albania.
The face-off is an old story. In 2013, the associations said no to the import of waste. This time, they want to prevent a fast-track vote. There will have to be massive mobilization.
We're now trying to coordinate the civil society here ahead of our next demonstration in front of the Parliament. That's where they'll be discussing this law once again, because as a consequence of our previous mobilization, the President has sent the law back to Parliament.
Just months before parliamentary elections, the Parliament is divided. Edward Shalsi is going out of his way for the law he helped draft. This MP believes Albania can establish a true recycling industry, and all precautions have been taken against dumping harmful waste.
It's very important to understand that the noise of transforming Albania on depositing waste is false, is simply untrue. What we are allowing is some what you called in European Union secondary raw material, recycling waste.
Could Albania suddenly find itself importing waste? FAZILE looks 50, but she's only 24. She's one of 30,000 informal recyclers selling to informal dealers who supply companies in the sector.
I left home at 7:30 this morning and I worked until about 10 a.m. I didn't earn very much money at all, barely 400 leks. I have a family, 4 daughters and a husband. There are 6 of us at home.
In the middle of this controversy, a recycler died in a landfill in September. Journalist Attain Rama was dropped from television after investigating and revealing inconsistencies between the official position and the reality in the field.
This country has no way of controlling its borders. This country has no means to control smuggling by its own police. What possibility does this country have of controlling what enters? With what means? The different services are unable to enforce the law and do not secure either the territory or the borders.
To everyone's surprise, the Parliament delayed the vote. You are garbage, shout the protesters, but there are only a couple of hundred of them in front of the parliament.
There's a lack of transparency from the government. The people aren't asked about anything.
We can barely deal with recycling our own waste. Only 20% is recycled. This issue should take priority.
In the face of widespread opposition, there's no certainty that the government will succeed in a vote on the bill. In the early 2000s, waste by the thousands of tons was imported without any controls. Recently, Europol uncovered waste smuggling on a European scale. In recent years, Italian customs have several times stopped illegal cargo bound for Albania. As a candidate for accession to the European Union, Albania will have to solve the problem of its waste management. At the moment, it's a long way from that goal.